Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Plus Three Futures and Commodities Show midweek edition. We are recording here on Tuesday, the 15th of October, a couple hours after the close. My name is Ben Maldonado. I'm here with my partner, Barry Hederachi. And on today's show, we're going to talk about the week in transition. We got a big cycle coming in end of this week. Markets are transitioning. To what, we don't know yet, but we know there's going to be a change. On today's show, we're going to cover ES, NQ, bonds, all the major markets we cover, plus a few listener requests and viewer requests.
Mm-hmm.
So without any further ado, Barry, let's jump in on the S&P because we don't have a lot of time.
Sounds like a normal day around here. So,
Yeah, exactly.
all right, we'll start with the cash.
Kind of ominous with the cash stuck at 90, isn't it?
My God, can you believe it? Of all the places that could be doing this.
Right.
So well, on the weekend show Friday, we were talking about, we were expecting the market to get to the 90, and we were just wondering if we could hold above it or not. And of course, it didn't. With this, last couple
Today
of days,
we straddle it.
yeah, didn't really settle anything. We're still
Right.
back to. So let's see. I mean, clearly there's support around this 57.50 level, and we'll look at some other numbers too. Till we really get settled, really, I don't want to make a call on this, but what we do know, we reached a critical level, 58.48 on in the cash, and we managed to, at least stay above at least for one day, and then we did this outside kind of reversal today, which, I mean, it's a little too good for me to kind of pull me into the market to be short.
Right.
Little too perfect,
A little too cute.
Yeah, a little too cute. So I'm watching this. But I think the thing to really remember is, and we'll go through a couple of different markets, but the thing to really remember is this 48, 58, 48, or you can just call it 58.50. It's really, I mean, that's the point to watch. So we'll see how we do above or below it, and we'll give you some other levels and things to watch.
So for those of you trading SPY, that's 585.
Exactly.
Because did have some requests I saw about SPY.
Mm-hmm.
So the level in SPY is 585.
Right.
That's key.
So that's the cash, and let's go to the futures market. From Friday to Monday, Tuesday, well, not much happened. I mean, we blasted up, then we reversed. So here we are, well above the 1 by 1, well above all of these. The key thing is we'll always, going into a high, we're always going to be well above everything, right? Everything's up momentum wise, everything wise when we get into a high. So can't really count on these, but the key thing here is futures wise is this 58.92 level, 90 degrees. We want to see again, we want to see if it can settle above or below. So really only one number to work with. If we can somehow get above this 58.92 or not, and that's would be our signal. So we can catch turns pretty close to the high, and we have in the past just by following sort of this formula. So we want to see, how we settle here, and that's what we're kind of going forward with. How does that sound to you?
That's right. I mean, you and I were talking this morning. We were saying, until we see support taken out and resistance hold, in this case, resistance would be the 90, right? We get stuck under the 90. You can't be bearish. You gotta stay neutral and look for bullish setups until that happens.
Exactly. But knowing that, we have this 58.92, we know it's a 90 up, we know it's a key level. So now it's just, keeping that in the background, and especially if we get stuck below it. And if we manage to get above, then everything's easy. We're back to trading. I don't know how much more upside we have left, mainly because of the Rebel EL cycle coming up, at the end of the week?
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday. Yep. So, Friday, Saturday, Monday, that's kind of the window.
Yep.
And so I don't know if we had a lot more. I just thought we might just go into a nice sort of a finish up in
a little blow off, right?
At least for this leg. But so far, I mean, this, going 90 is a good finish, by the way.
Sure is.
We'll just see if we can do a little bit more than that. So that's the level for that. And, Friday we looked at this Dow chart, the futures chart, and I talked about this block that's up here. And we talked about the midpoint, and I gave you guys a level there. Let me see what that is.
Around 43.7.
Yeah. 43,700. Good enough,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
43,700.
Yeah.
And that's the midpoint of the range. And the uppermost boundary for this run would have been 44,300. And I told you guys, like, the resistance has to build, here, and this would be the max, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got up there, pretty far into the zone and reversed. But the thing to remember here is the reason I'm not all, bared up here is because these 216 degrees up, we're well above that,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a pretty good floor here. So yeah, this could be a sort of a nominal pullback. We're keeping these things in mind. Yeah, we have resistance, but did we get through any key levels? No, we haven't yet.
That's right.
Okay. So the Dow, we haven't. And the other market that really did a good job holding on to levels was the Russell. I mean, look at this.
It was actually up today.
So it's actually up today.
Yeah.
So it's not some kind of broad market top and everybody's just bailed or anything. I don't know exactly what's happening fundamentally, but Russell has a little bit more to go. And funny enough, it gained some distance towards that. So the 90 up would be, it'd be beautiful if we can finish this leg, 2362, 2364. That would get us, that would let us finish up one leg. And the old high here was what, 2464, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the big difference I noticed was the Russell not selling off,
Right.
So I think, and when we look at the NASDAQ, you're going to pull out
the
monthlies and see kind of where we are. I think that's really important. So anyway, so that's what I had for the S&P, but I think we can't leave without looking at the 30 minutes. So give me 1 second.
Sure.
So here's the 30 minute, which sort of gave it up early in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so this morning's notes were really about, our target was 59.02 when we kind of left 58.14, and we got there, got on top overnight. And so the whole thing was, this is great. If it holds above that, we're in really great shape and we can just go up and tap 59.50, 59.48. Otherwise, any kind of a reasonable pullback would have been around 58.86, 58, down in this 58.80 area. But we kind of blew through all of that.
Blew through it, yeah.
And we got to 58.58, our good old friend, back here. Mm-hmm. So, and we dipped a little, and this kind of a dip is what I was kind of expecting over here at 58.86, and it looked like it was trying to dip. Then the whole thing tipped over. But so 58.58 looks like it's holding. Now, if it holds overnight and we're kind of moving higher tomorrow, then I think the sort of the correction or pullback or counter trend is finished. Mm-hmm. If we get below 58.58, I think then it's a little bit of a longer drawn out effort, and then we have to really watch it, right? Mm-hmm. Something like you said, what was your opening remark? Something shifting.
It's the shift and transition.
So then if we get below 58.58 tomorrow, I would say then there's definitely some kind of a transition going on, perhaps a little early, right? So I think that's the key here. So let's watch. So we'll be watching 58.58 to see if we can hold that or not. If we hold it, I think we can go back and test 59.02 and take it fairly easily because we've already been there. So the focus tomorrow would be 58.58 for you guys. Mm-hmm. And the big support, if we just blow through everything, is 58.14. It was our old support level that we held, so dearly, right?
Yeah. So, and was holding it below it for a long time too.
Yeah, all through
that.
Mm-hmm. So so far it looks okay. Looks kind of normal. This would have been, stopping up here would have been normal positive. This is normal. Mm-hmm. And coming down here wouldn't be so normal for, strong market. So 58.58 is the key level you guys have to watch. And we'll also be watching. One other thing I wanted to share was this weekly chart. We're going to jump from 30 minutes to the weekly. Yeah.
Look at that.
Now, this one,
you got circle timing and square timing.
Yeah. And it's all kind of holding together. Like every week you watch it to see, well, is it breaking apart? Is it holding together? Mm-hmm. Does this chart have any traction? Because there's no use for having charts that aren't, giving any good feedback. Mm-hmm. And here, just like you said, is the cash chart. We are really at the steepest part of the curve, obviously, right? I mean, about to
Yep.
go vertical next week. And, November 3rd is coming up, a couple of weeks. We have timing. We have 108 weeks coming up with by 144. So this area on a weekly chart is, I would say, we can't say this is not important. Okay. This is really a critical area. So something is going to happen here. Either we're going to
Hmm.
accelerate, up into it, or we're going to terminate and get out of the circle and do
And
some other
sell
thing.
off. Yeah.
Sell off, or like we saw Crude, got out of the thing. And what's going to happen is there'll be a change in character, right? Either a sell off or some kind of a consolidation. So we'll see, but it'll be opposite from the move prior to it, right, Ben? So
Yeah.
it won't be, break out and continue to go up. That's really,
That would be doubtful.
yeah, that's very rare. So,
Hmm.
but so we want to keep while we're playing at the edge of the thing here now, as we get closer to this Rebel Yell is next week, and elections are coming up. All these, we have 108 weeks coming up. So we're, closer we get, the more potentially more volatile the market get. You know how it
Hmm.
is as we go
Hmm.
higher. So watch for volatility, and let's see how this plays out. So what I'm saying is we have a little bit more to go, but there's a little bit of a yellow flag out, for what's pending in a couple of weeks, which is not that far really in trading.
No, it's not.
Right. All right. So
That's a great chart.
yeah, thanks. But it's one of those charts we want to really keep an eye on, because we don't want to lose sight of the fact, where we're going, and that kind of a move up, going vertical, would be perfect going into like the Rebel Yell cycle, or
Absolutely. It's how things terminate, right?
So we're watching those. So I think that's everything you guys need. We have all the levels. Let's go on, and let's do a quick stop at bonds, because
Yeah. Take a look at
that's kind of
bonds.
important.
Hmm.
So Friday we talked about how this 19 and a half, 1916 we have on the board, right? That level is going to be support.
Bang on.
Bang on, boy. Yesterday, Monday.
Right.
I mean, didn't spend a lot of time there either, right? We
No, it did
stopped
not.
there, reversed, and pretty, up fairly strong. So I'm thinking, now let's see how much higher we can get. Obviously, 124 area is definitely, that's the big resistance.
Hmm.
But now we want to give it, 2-3 days to see. I mean, coming down, we had what, two
Like,
bars up. The one bar was the inside day, so two up,
yeah.
and then we had all these
6 or
7, 8
7 down. Yeah.
down. So it's not the strongest. So we want to see here how many days of a counter trend would we get, and we can deal with it there. If we're going to
Hmm.
get two or more, right? Would it be 3 days, and how far can we get up in there? But
Hmm.
now we found some minor resistance. Well, I wouldn't say minor, some, decent, because of all
Decent
this.
support. Yep.
Yeah, yep. And the fact that we didn't get to 45 means something. It means obviously the bonds are a little stronger than you'd expect. So 18 and a half would be the 45. Anyway, bonds, we think the downside is done for now. Crude, talk about downside not being done.
Hmm.
So, but here's the cool thing though, Ben. Take a look at where it gapped down off of.
Right off of that critical number. Yep.
Yep, right off that 73.50. And we keep talking about it. Now you guys know why. Because I mean, I can't think of a better uh, example, how
Hmm.
important that is. So the thing was, I mean, if you guys are new, the idea is, we're looking for crude to be stronger above 73.50 and weaker below that. And I think Friday we talked about, if it gets below, then we can expect it to sort of consolidate here, especially given, we finished it up with an ABCD. So it seems like this area is solid, especially because we did the 60-degree move. It came down to the support area down here. So it seems okay, right?
Hmm.
And even if you draw a trend line here, it seems like we ought to be able to hold that fairly easily.
I mean, we could have another higher low if we reverse here.
Yeah, I mean, right, in the normal sense, we could go down for a couple of days and then pick it up again. But I feel like the
Hmm.
lows are in place. But let's just let this ABCD. I mean, this looks like a 1, 2, and a 3, right? So if this is
Hmm.
maybe on a 4-hour base, shorter time frame, we got a 5 down. So
Hmm.
3, maybe do a crazy 4, maybe a fifth failure and run back up,
Hmm.
something like that. But anyway, that's kind of where we are. Anything you want to
Crude.
add to Crude?
No, I think it's good.
All right, next goal, not much. I mean, we talked about the quarter square holding and going back up to test the highs, or at least to see if we get a lower high, if we're going to get through.
I mean, look at like that April to August period. That's kind of what it looks like we're doing. We're correcting, but not much correction.
Very tight. Yeah, it's very good.
Mhm.
So I think there's more on this on the Friday, last episode. So I'm not gonna
Mhm.
spend a lot of time on it. Okay, so dollar's looking good. I mean, this is perfect. 50% level came up, a couple of days hanging in there, got on top, a couple of days on top, and now we're starting to move higher. Very clean.
Mhm.
And well, of course, now we have this little table up here that we were sitting around that led, this level that was the floor, and we slipped through it. So now, the 103, 83, 84, 85 becomes resistance. But the longer we stay above the 50% would tell us that, the move up is real.
And
I
it's
mean,
strong.
compared to how we were coming down, which was kind of sloppy, right? It wasn't like a, fearful bear market. You know what I mean? It was very
No.
controlled.
Mhm.
But the run up looks like everybody wanted to buy the dollar all of a sudden. So,
Yep.
that's kind of move you want to see after completion of a cycle. And we used the 60 here. You can see that was 120 down. So I think dollar hold the course, especially if we can hold the 50% around 102.75.
Mhm.
That's that. Other thing worth talking about, I think maybe Hang Seng.
Getting
Man,
stuck below the half.
exactly. So that's the one I wanted to say. So 51, 548, 550. We talked about on the Friday, last podcast, we talked about that being a bracket if it's going to consolidate because the lows look pretty good. So it looks like it's consolidating. So 2380 is the lower boundary of it,
Mhm.
and you guys know the 50% level. So consolidating here is very positive, and getting up above the 50% will probably get us moving again. That's what I have for the Hang Seng.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's fun to go through this quickly, right? And take
It
a look
is.
what's going on. Let's take a look at a couple of user requests. We have the 10-year, and this is pretty cool how it worked out, right? We got on top.
Mhm.
We looked like it was wanting to holding on top and maybe hit the 90, but it really couldn't do it. Came through. I love it when the square line breaks with the trend line, right?
Mhm.
So flat trend line with the angled slope trend line, and we broke that, and that was it. Came right to the quarter level. This is why we like these levels, quarters, halves. And so kind of like the bonds, I think this is probably also going to try to go, have some kind of a counter trend to test this area. And I'm thinking it's going to be, 113 and a half or so, right?
Mhm.
And so that's that. Yen, well,
Grinding up towards that half square.
grinding up, and if it's right, don't mess with it. We called out this low. We talked about this lower high, and looking for it to move towards the 50%. It's moving, so we'll leave that alone.
Mhm.
What else do we have? We have the
Regional banks.
regional banks, not doing bad.
Nope. Heading to the half square too.
We had this 60 marked off, and well, we basically got there, and the 50% would be 61.37. So also, looks like the lows are good. It's starting to move higher. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. Well, that's all I have. Let me put it back to you. Oh, if there's uranium, we were very bullish coming off the 50%, and here we are.
Now battling at the 180.
Yeah, and it looks more or less positive. So let's see if you can
Right.
get above the 180. There is this expanding triangle, which is a little bit bothersome, but
Mhm.
nonetheless, if we can get above that, we're in good shape. That's all I got. That's a quick run through them.
Speed round.
Speed round. Yeah. Did we miss anything? We're good, right?
No, we're good.
All right. Let me put
Send.
it back to you.
Okay.
And if you guys like our work and you like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and also click on the alerts. All right. Let me put it back to you.
YouTube likes all those things.
Yeah, YouTube. And you guys are doing great. Thanks for all the comments. If you guys have any other requests, let us know, and we'll try to look at those charts. Okay. So NASDAQ, almost there, almost got to the square.
Almost. Now, as we know, we've been talking about this theme, when we look at the NQs. This is the monthly, by the way. I'm just going to show monthlies.
Mhm.
We keep talking about the fact that NASDAQ unlike the other markets, has not been able to make a new high.
Mm-hmm.
And so the big question in our mind is, did something end here? Which, plus or minus one basically is a square, right? We
Yeah,
squared
yeah.
out in price
Mm-hmm.
with 156 up and 260 in time. So until we take out that high, we could say that, the high is in place here. And if we reverse off this lower high, this is where you catch the fat pitch, fast move.
Yeah.
So, we've had, if this first move down was the new trend because we squared out here, this is your counter trend. And maybe the counter trend is ending this week with the cycle. It's something we're going to watch and watch closely, because that'll give us the clue. If we get a monthly reversal, or let's say we go down to like a weekly reversal, you can say, hey, the odds are starting to shift in favor that we had our high, we have a lower high, and now we reversed,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So and reversing in a week when we are getting, or this month when we are getting, the timing for this important cycle, this rebel yell cycle. So let's see what we get. We've got a lot of timing, as you can see the numbers on the screen. So until we take out that high, this one is suspect, right? And we have to really watch it to see if we can catch
Mm-hmm.
that next move, the fast move that we like to grab, either up or down when these things give you the lower high or the higher low if you're looking on a bullish chart.
Right.
Anything else to add here?
No, that's it. It's a really important thing to watch. So we're kind of watching it in slow motion. So
The other interesting thing, the interesting market I wanted to show from a monthly basis is Bitcoin. We now have a higher high this month, first time in a while. And we're battling, the highs today, we were battling at this monthly half square. So the key level here on monthly basis is 67, call it 67.6, 67,600.
mm-hmm.
Actually, it's more like 67,400. So if we can close over that on a monthly basis, it opens up all-time highs.
Right.
Odds will favor, will push up and go to this full square.
Mm-hmm.
So key level is right here in this half square. We have an up bar. We've had a long sort of grinding correction, not
Mm-hmm.
much in price, just really time. Basically we've done, a little over a half square in time.
Right.
And so we may be ready to move out here. So watch that 67,400 monthly basis. We get a monthly close over that, and we get a bar that the next month's bar stays on top of it. We're heading up to the full square, which is around 81,000.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be your next stop. So that's Bitcoin. Let's go to ES. Now, what is the monthly telling me here? Remember we said the market's in transition?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're at a decision point here, right?
For sure.
We're at the half square, from the O2 low. Timing wise, we're at 270.
Mm-hmm.
So putting in a high here and reversing would be pretty significant. It would be a 315 in price,
Mm-hmm.
270 in time,
Yeah.
monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, Barry, we talk about angles, right? Here's a 1x1. So look how far we're above the 1x1. The 2x1 is right in here, and we're banging up on the backside of the 4x1. So this kind of trajectory is not sustainable. And it's always the question of, okay, when is it going to shift? And that's what we have cycles for. That's what we have these time counts and the timing. And we're at a spot where all this could come together and we could get a change. It's why this month and this cycle, this week, with the Rebel Yell cycle, is so important to watch price, because if we get a reversal here, this could mark the high.
Hey, Ben, can you do ABCD coming off of that 2020 low?
Here? Yeah, sure,
A there, B,
sure,
C,
sure.
22 low.
Yep.
That looks awfully close to a completion somewhere in there.
Yeah, you might be right.
Uh,
Not far.
well,
It
not that
it
close
covers
either,
the
but
blow off. It covers the blow off like
what is that,
61.
61.38?
Yeah, 61.38.
All right.
It would cover the blow off, which it's possible, right? Because again, the rebel yell cycle or any cycle for that matter doesn't mean you do a V, right? It's not an
Mm,
automatic V. There's three outcomes. One is a V, of course, where you completely change direction and something ended. The
mhm.
other is a continuation. And
Right.
another is like a consolidation or correction without a V, just sort of like a
Mhm.
sideways burning off
Like a
time.
sloppy, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So we know that those are possibilities, but we also know that we're in a cycle window that we've identified. Barry's done it with time counts. I did it with the Rebel Yell cycle and time counts. And we can see from our squares here, 270. This is not 270 days. This is 270 months.
Mhm.
So this is a cycle originating from the lows of the dot-com bubble in '02. So this is a long, long cycle that we're potentially going to complete. So we want to point it out, have you understand about it. It doesn't guarantee that we're V-ing, it doesn't guarantee that it's a top, but we really have to be aware of, what it means if we get stuck below 58.47 on a weekly basis, because that's where the half square is here.
Right.
I'm sorry, not weekly, monthly. So
Mhm.
if you're making your notes or you're putting on your charts, 58.47 monthly basis is really, really important. Because if we get stuck below here, or for that matter, if we sit on top, it means we're still going. If we get stuck under, it means we've had potentially a major high with timing in place and cycles hitting. So that could be a big, big deal. And only time and price action will tell us if that's true or not. But now you know the setup. Anything else you want to add here on the monthly?
No, we're good.
Okay. Last one we want to look at is bonds. So here, this is the 30-year. A lot of you all have seen this chart in the past, and I really like it because, a lot of things going here. Barry was showing that the reason why I told you I was so excited about that circle chart that he had was, I mean, you can see, look at it on this monthly basis, what happens when you go to the steep part, you get the acceleration. And then when you go out and you fail, like here at the 135, you get that kind of move.
3-year trend.
And a huge move, right?
Mhm.
Just a massive, good trading move that we like. What's the interesting thing here to me is we called out Barry called out this low. We triangulated. We said that looks good. Maybe we do an ABCD up. Let's see what happens. And we looked pretty good, like we were going to get there. And we got to basically within an eighth, and then we faltered, right? And we sold off last week. The it's a sign of weakness, number one. But the bigger thing I think here is, and Barry and I were talking about this, bonds were down like 6 or 7 straight days. And that's when we had this sort of melt up in equities, like when we went straight up. And today I looked, when I came in this morning, looked at the charts and I saw bonds were weak. And then I saw bonds were down a point and stocks were kind of holding up. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then all of a sudden the stock market tanks. So there's this, and as we were discussing it, we were like, there's this correlation with bonds and stocks now that is negative, right? When bonds are strong, like they were today, risk has been weak.
Mhm.
When bonds are weak, like they were the last 7 days or 6 days prior, stocks were strong. So we're watching that relationship and we're watching this bond chart because if we can get the bond direction right, we can get risk direction right too.
Mhm.
So we do have a reversal bar on a monthly basis. We're going to have to watch and see how this reversal plays out on a bigger picture. Like, are we going to go down? Are we going to test these lows? If we are, the stock market's probably going to rally.
Yeah.
If, on the other hand, bonds turn back up, like we saw the strength today, if they turn back up and head back towards, this full square or this 90 on the chart, um, it may be ushering in weakness and risk. And it's funny because it's all happening again in this time window. So it's why this window is so important, and we really want to pay attention to price actions in all these different markets, because they're going to tell us, they're going to give us a lot of good clues as to where the trending move is going to be. Anything else you want to add here on bonds, Barry?
No, you did a good job. That's kind of the gist of it, right? So
Yeah, and the other key thing that we talked about a long time ago, this is a 40-year trend line that we broke.
mhm.
Is it possible we're going to go up and do a little kiss underneath here and kiss it goodbye? Maybe. And
Yeah,
if
possible.
we do that, and bonds are again negatively correlated with stocks, maybe this shows the market weakness, and we head up into that. But we'll see. We'll let it play out. Price action will tell us. But that's it. Other than that, I think the only thing that I have left to say is, pay close attention to the markets you're following. Watch for, changes in character, as Barry said, coming in starting like Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, Monday next week, because the big cycle's coming in, and we want to like as quickly as possible get an understanding of what's the effect of that cycle on these different markets. And the things to watch are, how does it handle support? How does it handle resistance? How does it handle these full squares? How does it handle the half squares? All that will give you an idea of, here's the effect of the cycle. We're not able to get on top of that 90. We're losing support. The market has maybe shifted to a bearish stance. Or if you were bearish and now the market is holding support, holding on top of, getting on top of full squares or half squares, then you got to say, hey, things are starting to look bullish. The cycle is affecting this bullishly. Barry, is there anything else you'd add on the cycles? Because I think it's important to have them understand what to look for.
Yeah, well,
as we
the other
come
thing
into
I was
this
going to say
window.
was, we post on X every day, so maybe follow us on X, because then you guys have a little mini update every day, what's happening. And because we watch the 30-minute, lower time frames to really catch it early on if something's not quite right, with the markets. Coming back to the cycles, well, that's it. The other thing is there's a lot of head fakes that can happen near cycle tops and bottoms. So, that's why you want to be really clear and have your levels marked off, and not be too trigger happy and not be too shy if your system generates a setup. So it's just, well, it's like always, just to be very clear headed getting into these corners, because potential corners, right? Potential corners, because there's a lot of distractions and stress on the system.
Yeah, and the news will try and misdirect you, so don't pay attention to the news. Just watch the price action and watch your levels, and that'll keep you on the right side of the market. Well, listen, we enjoy doing these midweek shows. It's a speed round. Hopefully, it's helpful. Please give us feedback, subscribe, set the alerts, and continue to help us grow the channel. We really appreciate all the stuff you've done this year to do that. And we'll talk to you again on Friday. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Ben. Good job.
All right, Barry.
We'll see you Friday.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good week, guys.